And welcome to the Family Faith Show, whereby we get to interact with the youth in various ways.
Let's stop judging people according to their trends.
We present to you fresh perspectives, exciting conversations, engaging debates, Bible trivia discussions, showcasing of talents such as singing, dancing, art, and so much more from guests who keep it real and authentic.
Sasa wewe, nitajuaje hautanihat? In true gentleman nature, come to us,
So buckle up because this season is about to be epic with me, your one and only host, Susan Bulemi. Keep it locked right here on the Family Faith Show every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. only on Capuchin TV. Hello and welcome to the Family Faith right here on Capuchin TV with me, your host, Susan Bulemi. So on today's episode, you're going to be having a very critical discussion, and that is on mental health awareness. It's a topic that affects millions of youth in our country and also across the world. And with me here in our studio are two lovely guests who are going to help shed more light on today's conversation. But before that, our dear viewer, I'd like to remind you that if you'd like to engage in today's conversation, you can always send us an SMS via our SMS number 21760, or rather you could also leave us a comment on our social media handles and your message will be delivered. So now I'd like to allow my guests to introduce themselves to you, our dear viewer, beginning with you, please.
Yes, hello everyone. I am Murigi Grace Njeri. I have a background in education, English and literature. I am a peer counselor. Therefore, I am a mental health advocate. I am also a tobacco control advocate. It's a pleasure to be in this show.
Okay, thank you so much for being here and you're welcome.
Thank you.
Next.
Okay, my name is Judy Okeo. I am a psychologist and also a peer counselor and a mental health advocate. It's a pleasure to be here and to talk more about mental health.
Okay, thank you so much, Judy. Thank you so much, Grace, for being here.
Sure.
And maybe if we could begin with our topmost question of today's conversation, mental health. When you hear mental health, what comes first to your mind, beginning with you, Grace?
Mental health is the general well-being of a person. But at times we tend to misunderstand it. When at times mental health is mentioned, some people think of people who are not well mentally or people who are facing challenges. But in real sense, mental health is the general well-being of a person, and that means having no reason or cause that is bringing about difficulties, that is maybe stress, anxiety, depression. So mental health generally is the general well-being of a person mentally. Yes.
And you've mentioned something very important that is actually a misconception. People hear mental health, the first thing that comes to their mind is the person crazy, is the person mad? So that is actually quite important what you've mentioned. Judy, and we should come next to you. What do you understand by the term mental health?
Like my friend has said, mental health is like the general well-being.
Yeah.
Apart from mental illness, are you psychologically okay, physically okay, emotionally okay? All these things, like we generalize them, it sums up to mental health.
Yeah.
Apart from someone being like mad or having PSD or having anxiety issues. Yes.
And maybe if I could ask the next question, depending on how the both of you have answered that question. You've mentioned there are things like anxiety, depression. Maybe if you could dive deep into these different mental health challenges that are here and how they affect the young people. Yeah.
So mental health, let us go in. There are many reasons why someone will can be undergoing difficulties with their mental health. A reason why, such as stress. There is positive stress and there is negative stress. In relation to a student's life, if you have examinations and you are panicking in a good way, you need to read because you need to pass. That is positive stress. But negative stress, an example I would use is I am a young person. There is something that I want to do, but because I don't know how to do it, I result to using narcotics so that I can get rid of whatever I am feeling, and I end up having bad emotion, I end up having anxiety, and that is the negative part of it. But the positive part of it that is driving you to do something is an example that I've used, like a student, I need to read because I have examinations. Yes, that is how I would explain it.
Okay. And it's actually sad to see that the young people today, when they are going through these issues, they end up depending on drugs, like you've said. It's actually sad, right? Okay, Judy, when it comes to you, what are some of these mental health issues?
Mental health issues can be, like I mentioned, anxiety. It can also be overworking. You know, overworking, I can overwork, but maybe I'm doing that because I'm going through a certain struggle, which I don't want to talk to, or I'm unable to open up. It can also be behavior or even from your family background. There are certain issues that may be happening that affect you mentally or emotionally. The moment you're not in your right state of mind, then your mental health is somehow disoriented.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've mentioned about having issues in your background, maybe due to trauma and all that. How can young people, how can a young person identify that they are going through a mental health issue? Because before you reach to that point and realize, okay, I have a problem, it might take time, right? Maybe what are the signs or what are the symptoms that someone is going through a mental health issue? Maybe beginning with you, Judy, first.
Okay, going through a mental health issue, you can notice the change in behavior, change in sleep patterns, eating disorder. I may be like lacking sleep or even sleeping too much. Behavior, someone can just get into drugs that much, or maybe just be violent. All these things can be a way of trying to like adapt or trying to, you know, I can take alcohol thinking that I'm trying to like make my mind relax, because there's some things that are affecting my mind, but I cannot talk about them. So changes in behavior, eating disorder, communication, physical changes, I can just start becoming thin. All these are like some of the things, the effects of mental health issues.
How about you, Grace?
Change in interest of the things that I used to like. If I am a footballer, I no longer want to go to practice because I don't want to be there. I don't want to be in a social space. If I am used to doing a certain thing, I no longer want to do it normally, how I normally do it. Another reason, rather a sign of stress is having ways to cope that normally I am not used to using narcotics, but I feel like I want to use alcohol because I want my head to feel a certain kind of way. But in real sense, it is not taking my problem away. The feeling is seasonal, but the problem is still there. You still have to tackle the problem. So change in behavior and change in interests in the things that an individual liked.
And that brings me to the next question. You've mentioned about how people have different ways of coping with stress, anxiety, and all those issues that they are facing. And you've mentioned that most of them may end up getting into drugs and all that. So maybe what advice or what could you say to the people who are having mental health issues? In what ways can they cope with that apart from engaging in the negative behaviors?
There is a phrase that we use, it is okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
And it is very much okay to seek for help.
Yeah.
There are people who are very much willing to listen.
Okay.
An example that I will use in an institution that we are affiliated with, that is Kenyatta University.
Okay.
We have a wellness department that is students and staff who are trained to offer support to the students. So there is always someone somewhere who is willing to listen. And if they are not willing to provide the solution, we say that a problem shared is a problem half solved.
Yeah.
So the moment you're sharing, you realize, it was tough, but I am figuring out there are ways that I can maneuver. So actually, drugs are never the solution. Actually, they are depressants. They bring you more trouble. So I will say talking to someone and finding hobbies. For example, Grace, let's say I love taekwondo. So I will invest a lot of time in being better at what I do, my hobby, rather than doing something that will bring me more harm. Now I have the stress and I also have to deal with liver cirrhosis because I am using alcohol. You get me? So talking to someone, finding a hobby that you will invest your time with and being a better version of yourself.
Okay. How about you, Judy? What are the other ways that people can cope with mental health issues?
The first thing is always opening up, like talk to someone about your problem. And this specifically goes to the men because they don't like opening up. Just talk to someone, seek medication if at all it is like adverse. You can seek medication, you can see a professional, that is a therapist, a psychologist. Just visit anyone whom you can share with. And the most and topmost is like do physical exercises.
Okay.
Yes, engage a lot in physical exercise. Just remember that seeking help is not like, it's not a weakness. In fact, it's showing strength because you're able to open up and talk about your issue so that you can find solution to it rather than like keeping quiet about it.
Okay. And I would like to mention, because I believe the both of you have a lot of knowledge when it comes to mental awareness. And last month, May, was the month for mental health awareness, right? Maybe are there some activities that took place last month that were to support people who are going through this that happened in maybe in our country specifically?
Sure.
Grace?
There were last month, that is May. May we celebrate the International Month for mental health awareness, right? We had webinars on mental health, free webinars for the young people, for the adults, for everyone, open webinars. We had workshops for mental health. We, for example, in Kenyatta University, we had a day where students are on a one-on-one with their counselors. You know, it is one thing to have an office directed and set apart for counseling. It's another thing for them to come to the students and actually tell them, we are here for you. We listen to you because we care. So an example is the webinars that were held, the workshops that were held, the one-on-one conversations, counselor, students, talks that were there. Those are just but an example of the activities that we had in relation to mental health.
Okay. Judy, how about you?
Yes, in addition to those activities, there are also charity events that were there to cater for the mental health, like advocacy. There were walks in town, walks in the community, offerings, giving back, even in churches. There were occasions that were held to honor the mental health day. This is just to encourage everyone to speak up and seek help. And also to accommodate each and every person, whether you have which disability or not.
And it's actually nice to hear that we had walks organized by the church to help that. So that shows that even the church plays a role in helping especially young people who are going through mental health issues, right? So, and I would also like to ask, there are various challenges that people might face when trying to fight these mental health problems. Like, for example, I would like to say a lot of we Africans, our African culture, we are meant to believe that mental health issues ni mambo ya the Western regions, the people in the American countries and all that. Apart from that, what are the other challenges that people are facing? Grace?
Thank you. I think family.
Yeah.
At times, family in this perspective, like the way you said it, in the African, how do we say it? The African culture setup. Yes, thank you. When you want to seek guidance or help from a counselor, you're running mad. Yeah, so that will hold me back as a young person. I don't want to seek for help because I don't want the community to think that I am running mad. Another thing maybe is financial challenge, because it is not everywhere where mental health services are free. So a young person who is not aware of where they can seek for help in the community where there are free counseling sessions, they might face a challenge having finances to actually acquire help from mental health experts. Another one is lack of information. There is a young person who is not even aware they can reach out, and that is where we have such talks to bring awareness on that. There is a young person who doesn't know actually there is a professional who has been trained to assist them with their problem. So that is those are some of the things that I will say.
How about you, Judy?
Thank you. Mine is stigmatization. A lot of people go through like stigma. They're being judged for opening up. They're being nicknamed, "You're weak," because I've just spoken of my problems. They're being like, the society is so biased. Actually, we say everyone advocates about mental health. Everyone talks about mental health. Until now, it is one-on-one on a personal level. I will post Happy Mental Health Awareness Month, but I won't be having that listening ear to like sit down with this person and listen to their problems. Now, stigma is number one big thing. And then judgment. We always say when you go to a therapist or a psychologist, I should listen without judging. But that remains to be a say, because most of the people do judge. Someone listens to your problems and then they're like, after that, I cannot deal with that. That's, you see. So a lot of people judge. And then another one is lack of information. Most people, even if you go to the villages, most people don't know about the therapist. If you tell them, go and see a psychologist, he or she doesn't even know what a psychologist do, what a therapist do. So, and then the other one is everyone who has like, people think mental health, this is like misinterpretation. When I talk about mental health, I'm talking about being in madari, being mad. Someone doesn't know, me like lacking to, like when I don't eat at night, or when I see imaginary things at night, maybe there's somehow my mental health is affected. There's something going through my mind. But when I tell someone that is madness, or like we assume so much,
and I think based on what the both of you have said, I think the main challenge is the lack of information, right? Because a lot of people they have the misconceptions that if you're having mental issues, you're probably mad. Going crazy or you're already mad. So I really think that it would help a lot if our members of the community and the society in general would learn more about mental health. And now you've talked about the challenges that people are facing. And now that brings me to the next question. How can they overcome this? How can we overcome these various challenges that we are going through right now? Grace, you could go first.
That is a very good question. Some of the ways that people, individuals can overcome mental health challenges, such as physical exercise, as it had been mentioned earlier. Physical exercise. If I love journaling, when I have a bad emotion, I will go pick my book, write a journal of how I am feeling, it is almost equally same as reaching out to a person and sharing what it is that I am feeling.
Yeah.
So journaling, if listening to music, if listening to worship songs or church songs or the songs that soothe your heart,
Yeah.
makes you cool down, listen to music. Talking to someone, if you find someone that you can have confidence, who is a confidant,
Yeah.
who you can have a confidentiality talk with them, have the talk with them.
Okay.
They might not offer the solution, but again, we say a problem shared is a problem half solved.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that an individual can venture into in an attempt to battle mental health challenges.
Okay.
Yeah.
Judy?
Battling mental health challenges. Can I say, like, to a person being affected or just to the community at large?
We could do both.
Okay.
But specifically, especially to the person who's being affected.
To the person being affected,
Yeah.
I think one, you should like watch on the things you do, because you find that maybe the things I do unknowingly can make me be affected, either physically, emotionally, psychologically, but I won't know at the moment.
Yeah.
Then the next one is be a good advocate. What do I mean by this? Be like a champion to mental health.
Yeah.
Be like a mental health warrior. And then do exercise. Seek help when you feel like there's something wrong with you and you can't explain what is there. Just explain to someone. You might get some information of what is going through, what you're going through.
Okay.
And then another thing, I've talked about exercise. Another thing is, I'd say, read a lot of books containing mental health issues, so that you avoid the misconception about the mental health idea. Yeah.
Okay. And I would also like to bring about something else, and that is social media. I feel like in every conversation, social media has to be there because it also plays a major role, especially among the young people today. Do you think it's to some point also contributes in the young people going through mental health problems?
I'd say yes. Let me give an example.
Okay.
I am a young person. I am 18 years old.
Yeah.
My celebrity model, or rather the person I'm looking up to, is someone who's doing very well.
Yeah.
But remember, they are not 18 years old as I am.
Okay.
So I have the pressure.
Yeah.
I want to be like that person, that celebrity, or that person that I look up to from social media. Not remembering the fact that there are stages in life.
Yeah.
As a young person, I will go through the system of education. I will reach to a point where now I have to work towards the dream and the vision that I have for my life. And everything is a step at a time. So it will cause a challenge. It will be a challenge if I do not understand this, and I want to be direct as my celebrity model is, as that person I'm looking up to is. So the pressure from social media, also peers. If I am not from a very much fair background, let's say, and there are things young people are doing that I'm not doing, and I want to do the same. If I don't have the understanding that not everything works out in the same way for everyone, you know, different things work for different people, and there are different stages and timelines are different. I might not be a 20-year-old driving a Mercedes right now, but there is a 20-year-old driving. But understanding that maybe our timelines are different. We are both working towards the goal of being able to afford and able to live the life that we all envision for, but the timelines are different. So if I don't understand that, I will have a lot of pressure, and I might end up losing self-respect for myself because I think I'm not doing enough.
Or rather even start engaging in things that are not right just because you're comparing yourself with people who have maybe succeeded. Judy, how about you?
Yes, social media effects. I'll talk about the traits in social media. You see, when they tell us that, we say these celebrities, they have like a different life when it comes to real life, or not even celebrities, even our friends. You can see your friend posting something and then you're like, why am I not like that? But when you realize this person maybe it's just faking life.
Yeah.
So that one can add pressure into my life. I would want to be like those other people. Again, social media, you say these posts being over 18 and 18, when they announce over 18, when maybe doing what? Advertising the liquors. That doesn't mean all 18 years and above should be taking alcohol. But then I'll tell myself, say I'm 18, why not? You say, without, like, I'll not be looking at the effects of these things, but when I'll realize I'll be having mental health issues because maybe the drugs have affected me. Another thing is like urge for getting really quick money.
Oh, yeah.
The wash thing or whatever it is called.
Yeah.
So I'll rush to get money because I'll be like, I can't be living like this. Yet people are flossing outside there. What will be wrong or what mistake will I have done getting into such things? You see, at the end, at the long run, you realize that these things affect your mental health indirectly or directly. So social media has a lot of effect on someone. You may know or you might not know at the moment until it becomes worse.
Okay, and we've mentioned on the same point about social media, we've talked about how it may affect people, right? And now social media can also be used as a tool to enable positivity, right? So what do you think, or should there be maybe platforms that the young people are using in order to advocate for mental health awareness and help each other about mental health? Judy, you can go first.
I think the platforms are there. We can't say the platforms are not there. They are there, but our focus as young people is on a different path. I will go to a channel and then I see them advertising about mental health issues, advantages of speaking up. But then I'm like, what is all this for? And skip to another channel with it has music or games. So I think in as much as the channels might not be many, but they are there. There are channels that talk about mental health, advantages of speaking up, advantages of seeking help, going for medications. But I just think our focus is different. I'll not blame social media for that. I'll blame us. We have different priorities, let me say.
Grace?
Add to her point, I support her point too. The channels are there. We have those resources online. But again, something that we can do different is whatever we're doing on ground, we do it virtually through the digital advocacy. The way we are champions and advocates for mental health here, we also do the same on social media. Let's say we have a community of an example, I am part of a mental health community. It's called Afrikili. We have charity events. We have, how do we call, X spaces on mental health. We have different days to talk about different things on mental health. So I think it's whatever we're doing on ground, we try to do the same to extend it to the social media world, because I think social media catches a bigger audience, because I don't have to be in Mombasa to attend a virtual session that has been organized. I don't have to be in a certain place to attend. So I think spreading the gospel and making our young people to understand that it is okay to be part of mental health communities. Just as I am part of a football community, just as I am part of how do we call it, an example, a cosmetic or a beauty community. It is very much okay to be part of a mental health community. Yes.
Okay. And also to add to that, maybe what do you think should be done in the future, or maybe what future plans should people who, especially people who are activists of mental health, what can they do in the future so that they may be able to have access to more young people?
That is a very good question. I think whatever needs to be done, it's to have more enforcement rather on the things that we are already doing. If it is reaching out, now reaching out in more depth. If let's say we are going to a certain community in an informal settlement, we are going to talk to those young people, and we are telling them who we are, what we do, why it is important to be part of the community, and why it is very much beneficial to them. So I think putting more effort in whatever it is that we are doing. If it is having social media campaigns, then actually I think social media campaigns will really help. That is having a goal that we want to achieve, setting a certain time, let's say it's a week that we want to achieve that, having a group of young people that are willing to support that, and then if we are sharing the information on all social media platforms at a certain time, it becomes a trend. You know, a trend, it is very much easy for young people to hop onto trends. You get whatever the young people are doing, you try to simulate it into their understanding. So I think whatever we're just doing, putting more effort into the same and adapting to the new trends of the young people so that we can catch the young people more.
Okay, how about you, Judy?
Yeah, I think one way is by like making mental health be like, you see the way we're taking the subjects in school seriously. Let it be an engaging, if not subject, or if not something to talk about, then like an activity in our schools. Because you see, every child has to go through an education system, whether it is homeschooling or like going to school, private academy. Let it be there. Let it be like a language in a school where each and every individual can speak mental health. And then apart from that, I think in our communities also, because we find like back in our villages, many people are not aware about mental health issues. But if we like include these things in even in the chief barazas, when the elders go for meetings, they're being told these things. I think the professionals or maybe the therapists, psychologists can be like in the communities talking to different people. You see the way health system has come up with this format of walking from door to door. It's called Kenya. Walking from door to door, like asking you how you're doing, knowing about like your mental well-being. I think they should also include these issues of mental health, whereby I go to this door, I just ask about how are you doing, how have you been, how are you like mentally. So like making it part of us, not like we give it a certain month where we wait for May. That is when we celebrate mental health.
When May is over, we forget about
all the mad people can all just go mad. We make it part of us. In everything we do, we include mental health. I think it's like impossible, but nothing is impossible. That would be like a better option.
And I would also like to ask, mental health doesn't just affect, okay, when we talk about the youth, a lot of times we are speaking about people from age of 18 and above, right? But we also have like young kids, especially in their teenage years, who are going through mental health problems. Maybe how can their guardians be advised, or maybe they can go through training? What can we tell their parents or guardians about mental health so that they can know maybe when their child is facing a problem or something?
I think it's advising the guardians to have a very good relationship with those small children. If I am a very small child, I am 4 years old, my neighbor abuses me or does things that are not pleasing, but because my guardian is too tough, I will not be comfortable enough to open up. And that is what comes in future. It forms trauma and the things that we cannot handle in such an age, you know. So I think advising parents to be approachable and to have a listening ear to these small children. They might not offer solutions at all times, but a very small child, giving them a listening ear, they will trust you. There is nothing they will go through that they will not open up to you about.
Judy?
Yes. In as much as the parents should be approachable, I think they should also have listening skills, hearing skills, and they should have observational skills. I might not be tough, but you may be going through something as a toddler. Maybe you don't want to share because, I don't know, you know, it reaches a stage where also young children start keeping things to themselves. So like if I know how to observe, I'll observe a certain behavior, change of behavior in this young person. that will make me realize there's something going on,
Yeah.
or something is probably not okay. So I think the parents should like be observant
Yeah.
when it comes to their kids, and also be cautious of what they do.
Yeah.
My child might not come, when she sees me doing something as a mother, no, because I'm a mother, she might not tell me, Mama, I saw you doing
Yeah.
this. But that is something she's observing, and she's telling himself or herself, she's telling herself, you see, my mom also does this.
Yeah.
Now it's like, it's okay. And maybe it's something that will bring like a negative
Yeah.
impact to the child. So as a parent, you also watch your behaviors and watch what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And since we are running out of time, in just one statement, I'd like both of you to give me your parting shots as we conclude, beginning with you, Grace.
I will say it in a youthful way.
Okay.
Talking about mental health is cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And not wanting to talk about mental health is not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. How about you, Judy?
I'll say, just like I had said, speaking up is a sign of strength and not weakness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your words, and I believe our viewers have grasped something from whatever you've told them and from whatever we've discussed, right? And maybe if I could read feedback that we are getting. We have Teresia who says she's watching and she says we should keep going with today's discussion. And also we have Amos from Matunda who says mental health is also called afya ya akili ama mafikira. And finally we have Johnson who says he's following from Nanyuki. Good topic, and especially for our young people, they really need help. So thank you so much to you, our dear viewer, who have participated in today's conversation. And I would also like to once again thank you, Grace and Judy, for being here today and shedding more light on today's conversation. And as to you, our dear viewer, I'd like to leave you with one statement that was mentioned earlier. It's okay not to be okay. But after you've realized you're not okay, what should you do? Find someone to talk to, find hobbies, and everything will be okay. So I have been your host, Susan Bulemi. See you next week, same time, same place. Be blessed and have a beautiful week. Well, hello to you, our dear viewers of Capuchin TV, and welcome to the Family Faith Show, whereby we get to interact with the youth in various ways.
Let's stop judging people according to their tribes.
We present to you fresh perspectives, exciting conversations, engaging debates, Bible trivia discussions, showcasing of talents such as singing, dancing, art, and so much more from guests who keep it real and authentic.
Sasa wewe, nitajuaje hautanihat? Intrude human nature, Kapasupas, Toto.
So buckle up, because this season is about to be epic with me, your one and only host, Susan Bulemi. Keep it locked right here on the Family Faith Show every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. only on Capuchin TV.
Sala ya Jubilei mwaka wa 2025. Baba wa mbinguni, imani uliotupa kupitia mwanao, Bwana wetu na ndugu yetu, Yesu Kristo, na mwali wa ukarimu uliowashwa mioyoni mwetu na Roho Mtakatifu, ziamshe upya ndani yetu tumaini lenye baraka la ujio wa ufalme wako. Neema yako itubadilishe kuwa wakulima wasiochoka wa mbegu za Injili. Mbegu hizo ziweze kutufanya upya kutoka kwa ndani ubinadamu wetu, na ulimwengu wote katika matarajio ya uhakika wa mbingu mpya na nchi mpya, ambapo nguvu za uovu zikiangamizwa, utukufu wako utang'aa milele. Neema ya Jubilei na iwashe upya ndani yetu mahujaji wa matumaini, hamu ya hazina za mbinguni. na neema hiyo ieneze furaha na amani ya mkombozi wetu duniani kote. Kwako Mungu wetu, unayetukuzwa daima, utukufu na sifa milele na milele. Amina.
Eternal Father,